Thank you for staying with India Today, and we cut across to more breaking news coming in. Families of the victims of the Air India crash are mulling possible legal action against Air India and Boeing in UK courts. UK-based families who've lost their loved ones in the Air India crash are now in talks with a UK-based law firm. We're getting details of how families of the victims of the June 12th Air India crash based in UK are consulting UK-based law firm Keystone Law for filing potential lawsuits against Air India and Boeing. More than 270 lives that were lost in that air crash. Lawsuits are likely to be regarding seeking enhanced compensation. Remember, so far Air India has given a compensation of 1 crore each to the families of the deceased. Law firm Keystone Law has confirmed to India Today that they are well in the process of advising families who've unfortunately lost their loved ones in the Air India I-71 tragedy to what they can do next. Sources aware of the development have exclusively told India Today that a large number of meetings are lined up with UK-based families this week to plan out a detailed strategy to how those families can take on Air India and Boeing. Their loved ones lost. Let me cut across to Nalini Sharma, joining us with further details on this UK law firm that has been consulted by families living in UK to how they can take on Air India and Boeing both.
So, Isha, this is an update that we can confirm for our viewers that about 53 to 54 of the families that were involved in the crash of Air India on the 12th of June, some of those families are consulting Keystone Law to see as to whether or not there are any more compensatory measures that they can take, especially with regard to filing of lawsuits in the UK courts. They are mulling as to whether or not they should seek enhanced compensation for losing their loved ones in the Air India crash. And in the dock are going to be not just Air India, who was the company responsible for the aircraft, but also Boeing, who was the manufacturer of the aircraft. So both Air India and Boeing are likely to be in the dock. The partner from Keystone Law, who's heading this entire team, has confirmed to India Today that they are going to be meeting the families that are based in UK during the course of this week, and we can expect for a likely decision to be taken at the end of the week once the families have had a chance to meet the lawyers of Keystone Law. Not just that, there is also a law firm in the US that is assisting Keystone Law with regard to its investigation. This is independent from the official investigation that is being carried on regarding the Air India crash. What they are essentially trying to determine is as to whether or not there are any legal grounds for these families under tort law to go ahead and ask for enhanced compensation from Air India as well as Boeing. So we can expect for more developments in the coming weeks. Remember, Suesha, these are the families that are residing in UK. There were about 53 to 54 passengers from the UK who were aboard that Air India flight 171 that had crashed on the 12th of June. So some of those families are consulting the law firm. It remains to be seen as to whether or not an official lawsuit is going to be filed against Air India or not. They do have jurisdiction to do so, since Air India and Boeing also operate in the US and the UK. So there is going to be a decision taken on that regard. It remains to be seen as to whether or not there is going to be additional trouble mounting for Air India and as to whether or not they will have to give more compensation to these families.
Absolutely, Nalini, because it is not about the money. It is the fact that their loved ones are lost, and far too many cases as far as Air India and Boeing that have been reported in the recent times, but not much has been done about it, and that is where the anger stems from. I want to thank you for getting us those latest details.